This is my intake right now. As you can see, I'm pretty stocked. There's actually 4 Sega CDs in there. Everything's in bags, well, bugs, really. Yeah, and there's already this pack route running on here. It's a little tight, but yeah, I meant, why make it easy for guests? Welcome to the new results, everybody. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna have to cut just because I can't fit everything over here, and you get the point. So either way over to the thrift stores, I stopped by this garage, community garage sale that was happening. It was on very small sale, 6-7 houses. One of the houses I stopped at, I asked my questions, and of course, someone overheard me. And this was actually a lady who was selling stuff at this guy's house, but her house was actually one street over, and she recognized the word Sega, as in, she's like, as in Sega Genesis? And I was like, absolutely, that's what I'm interested in. So she escorts me back to her place and her back patio. She has these 2 fruit baskets that would hold like strawberries and stuff, and her trays of Sega games. But this is what immediately caught my eye, and I had to put my poker face on before I started negotiating. First, I'll put this disclaimer.
Warning: serious side effects may occur. Those who are taking Imodium AD or have diarrhea, pause the video first, do your business, then resume. The makers of the results do not claim any responsibility for any ill effect that may occur when watching the results.
Okay, now that we got that over with, we have the JBC Exile. That's right. And it's, you know, all the stuff in here was kind of covered with dust and with other stuff. There's also a regular Sega Model 2 in there. But there were tons of games, and you know, asking for a price or whatever, I think I only wanted to spend $25, and for some reason that was the first number I shot out, but even so, that was way low. She kind of didn't really say she accepted it, but she was kind of more curious about whether or not everything was there for me, so I assumed that she accepted it. And then the thing was, while she was getting out this stuff from, there was like a greenhouse and on her patio, and she went behind there, I guess, to like some sort of shed, and I'm going into my backpack to get my money out. Oh, here's a good tip. There might be some of you guys out there on your bike, and riding with money in your pockets is probably a bad thing, even if you have Velcro. If you're a person who drives a car, you probably don't care about, but normally you have your money in stacks, right? Maybe 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, whatever. And to me, to get those denominations out, especially the higher ones, you have to kind of flip through a bunch of 1s or whatever. So what I've started to do is I put a 20, a 10, and a 5 in a certain spot, kind of separated from the rest. Like maybe there was like a note card or my wallet or whatever in between the stack of cash and then those 3 denominations. And the 20 is folded once. The 10 is folded up like almost like a cigarette. You know, it's like it's folded several times over, small little rectangle. And then the 5 is folded up into this tiny little square. So it's really easy to kind of just put them all in one pocket and then reach for whatever you need. So I pulled out the 20 and the 5, kind of unfolded it, and just sort of was waiting for her to come back. Basically, she, like I said, I pulled the money out and she accepted it kind of slowly. I don't know, she didn't really say it, but she's like, okay at one point. So I knew I couldn't fit all this stuff in my backpack, even though I tried. I mean, I had bags. I really didn't. I was already like 6 miles away from my place, so I knew I had to come back. I grabbed pretty much all the games that I knew were valuable, and I kind of really didn't look at everything. Even now, I don't really remember, but I grabbed stuff that I knew that even if for some reason, the deal went sour later on and I came back, I got the good stuff already. So I grabbed power adapters, I grabbed RF units, I grabbed the JVC power adapter in there. I did not grab any controllers. I think I grabbed an RF unit. All these games I think are complete. First we'll start off with a really good one, and like really nice condition. Gunstar Heroes. Yeah, that's an amazing find. pretty much anything that's these guys. Treasure worked originally for Konami, and I mean Treasure games are usually valued highly, but it seems like the Konami games on Genesis are skyrocketing right now. $60, $70, $100 for Hyperstone Heist if you have it in really nice condition like this game is. So Sonic the Hedgehog actually not a not for resale copy, which is kind of funny. Little Sunfade there. Tommy the Sword is baseball. Here's a good one. Well, valuable, but I don't know. I like the arcade game. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. All these are like in really, really, really nice shape. No tears or anything. Well, this one, the manual, I guess, could use a little bit. But Altered Beast. Not one, but 2 copies of Sonic 2. Madden 94 limited edition. There's no game. Maybe I think there are some loose cards here. Maybe some of these were unloaded in a cart tray or whatever. Here that is. I think I'm gonna keep this sucker. Might actually be useful. They were unloaded in here, and she was kind of, helping me unload them and put them into their cases. She was mostly concerned of whether or not I had everything and could get everything back. So, I mean, basically, I'm gonna get to more games here, but she set everything aside that I couldn't carry on her porch behind like some flowers and plants, and I came back for it. And most of that was the controllers and the cartridge tray thingy. Road Rash 3, Alien 3, Alex Kidd and Enchanted Castle. There's another one. Zoom, which is some sort of puzzle game. Fantasia, which is, I've heard, pretty shitty. Columns. Home Alone 2. Street Fighter 2. Star Control. Which, yeah, that one doesn't have mail in it. I know that comes with a lot of stuff. Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf. I think the only reason people get these games, or kids get these games, are like, what kid wants tournament golf? Is like a grandmother or somebody wants to get a kid-safe game. Let's see, Castle of Illusion. Like I said, it's in really nice condition, and I just bought this game. And I know it's pretty stupid. I knew I'd find this eventually, just because it's like, it's one of those early games that you would think everybody would have. Space Harrier 2. Sonic Spinball. Now this game I love, but this game in particular that I got from the lady, this one is just the case in the mail. There was no game. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll put that over by my Sonic 2 poster. Loose manual for Terminator 2. Here are the Sega CD games. Jurassic Park, Eternal Champions, which I'm not a fan of. I had to play it more probably, but this is the Sega CD version. Surprisingly, the theme or intro, the main title theme for Eternal Champions on the Genesis is really, really good. Like, you just type that in. Even if you hate the game, listen to that track. It's really, really good. Bouncers, which is some sort of cartoony basketball game. I don't know. The Game Genie manual. I don't know if I'm gonna put that there. Lodestar, Legend of Tully Bodine. And I have to be careful with this one because this is kind of broken one of the hinges. NBA Jam. So that's sweet. Here are the loose carts. We got Menacer, no gun. Super Baseball 2020, which I believe this is an SNK game, right? I think it was on the Neo Geo and the arcades as well. Here's that cart from Madden 94, so you can pop that in the case. Game G, Sonic and Knuckles. I think there were 2 different versions of this game. Ones with like hinges that actually worked, and ones that don't. Because I've gotten ones that actually have cutouts over here, and they pop off all the time. And I never remember that happening with my early one. I got the game at launch with my brother, so some people are getting really sucky cards, I guess. Maybe there was a later release. Arch Rivals Hard Driving with a looks like a Babbage's or GameStop logo. And finally, we have like 6 controllers. 1, 2, 3, 6 controllers. Unfortunately, I think the JVC-Xi has branded controllers, like they say JVC on them. I mean, it'll work with any standard Genesis controller. I'm gonna leave these over here because this thing is getting. There's still stuff over here. After that, went to a couple other sales, found nothing, of course, but let's see. I was at this one sale. There was an estate sale going on, and well, no, it said garage sale, but basically they had their full garage open. They wanted you to walk in and look in the garage, and you know, it was. I mean, there was nothing there really. Mostly like hardware, stuff you'd find in Home Depot, some books, maybe some old magazines, and then somebody said that there was stuff inside, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know I could go inside. So I go inside and roll tape, I guess.
Okay, so, so if the fridge and the refrigerator.
You know, I walk over this table and I start looking at these through this bin, and I find Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is like the 3rd time I found this game out in the wild. Funny, this is supposed to be a rare game. I haven't even found like Buck Bumble. That's a game I want. So this is, to me, not as rare as Buck Bumble, but it is valuable. So anyways, I figured, I for some reason I got in my head like I should pull out my phone. I should pull out my phone. So I put this back in the basket. I put this back in the basket, and it was kind of staged, the footage, but I wanted to show it. But the next part wasn't. Alright, so as you can see, I saw they had Cruisin' Exotica there. On the ground, there was Donkey Konga in a box, and they had the shelf over to the right of that table with a bunch of movie DVDs, some PS2 games, like they had Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PS2, some Lord of the Rings games. They had this Dungeons and Dragons thing. I'm not too familiar with it, so I didn't pick it up. But, you know, of course, we asked more about games, and we shall find.
Come outside, there's...
Oh, more?
I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but
Oh, okay.
it looks kind of funky out there.
Yeah, you didn't buy it, did you?
No, he did not.
So, is that this one?
Let me see.
Or is there another?
Okay. But you don't know, like, I didn't ask you, but you don't know if there's, like, any more game stuff. Like,
No,
I found
I know. There
these
was,
guys,
you know, we
and
have the PlayStation controller, but
Yeah.
then there was a Game
I
Boy
found, like-
earlier.
You want the games, Mary? The games are
Yeah.
$1 a piece, so what is it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
4,
4,
5.
5. Yes, 5 for the...
So, I don't really film too much with my phone, but I don't think I got this part on camera. She lent me over some other junk in that clip, like music CDs mainly, and some VHS tapes, but she did leave me out back into the garage, surprisingly, and there was like a covered bin, and in the bottom of the covered bin there were some more N64 games: GoldenEye, little tear in the label, Rampage 2, Universal Tour, and Perfect Dark. There was no system or anything like that, but one of the people there said they had a Game Boy earlier, and I'm thinking the only reason that these things weren't taken was because these were kind of randomly about the place. So the two of those were together, the Conqueror and the Exotica, but they were covered up. So, and this was like, I think it was like almost 2 o'clock. And so this wasn't even stuff I had asked for. It was still lying there. So, you know, I think just because of maybe there weren't people that were aware that they go inside as well, these weren't picked up. There you go, footage. I went to the thrift stores after that. That's where I picked up all the N64 controllers and the PS3, whatever. But on my way back, since I had in my mind that I could film stuff with my camera, I went back to that lady's porch where she put aside the stuff, like the tray and games, and I pulled out my camera and was able to film some of me loading that stuff up.
So here's the Genesis tray. All the games back at my place, except for these Sega CD ones, and a couple parts only. This is on my second trip though. I'm gonna need double duty here to get all this stuff in. And we're all packed to go. Back in the pocket.
I still think it would have been awkward to pull out my camera while she was right there in front of me. Maybe I could have had it out beforehand, but I was mainly concerned about getting money out to pay her quickly. I could throw money in her face. So yeah, either way, I hope you have enjoyed that pickup. Freaking JVC Xide, folks. Still looking for that Atari 5200 and Vectrex, but yeah, that's crazy. So you just have to go out continually. This is the first time I've ever had a major like Sega haul. So I'm happy about it. So, yeah. So anyways, it's out there. Now go get it.